What's good, people? It is Tony the Savant. And before we get started, please like the video, share the video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel. As well, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel as I drop content daily, go live daily, stay very busy on the platform. Last but not least, please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. I'm always intrigued to hear what you all got to say about these topics. And ladies and gentlemen, well, I got a quick minute. I want to recap week 3 of the NFL season. As of last night, it concluded, and an epic season, man. So far, a lot of unpredictable stuff happening. For me personally, I'll start with the Vikings because they are my next door neighbors, the next door neighbors to my Green Bay Packers. Those guys are balling. Sam Darnold looks like the absolute best quarterback in the NFL. And we lined up against the Vikings next week. And I'm nervous. I'm legitimately nervous. There's always a dogfight with the Packers and the Vikings, and how the Vikings are rolling right now, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Not even mentioning Sam Darnold and Justin Jefferson. Next week's going to be a problem for Pack Nation. So, but just off the top, man, just epic games all along the board. A lot of, in my opinion, upsets. This week, a lot of rebounds this week as well. So off the top, let's just get right into it. We started things off with the Thursday night game against the AFC East rivals, New York Jets and New England Patriots. Now we recapped that game. Aaron Rodgers put on an absolute virtuoso performance. Literally carried that team to the win. I'm very impressed with what Aaron Rodgers has been able to do, recovering not only from his injury, but coming back and looking like he hasn't really lost a step. I mean, the guy is 40 years old. He's not supposed to be playing as well as he's playing right now. But kudos to him, and now it looks as if he's starting to get into his groove. I know firsthand from being in Packer Nation that once Aaron Rodgers is in a groove, man, it could be an MVP season for him personally, and an overall great season for the New York Jets. Period. Especially after the dreadful season they had last year, the Jets were able to win that game, not win, dominate that game. Final score was 24-3 for the New England Patriots. It's just where do they go? I know that they were trying to build an identity on being a run first team. But that can only go so far in a passer first, in a passing league, excuse me. Quarterback situation is up in the air. I mean, they pulled Jacoby Brissett at one point to allow Drake May to get some tick, but I don't think that's going to be the case next week. I think Jacoby's going to remain the starter. For me, the number one problem right now, albeit the rushing attack for the New England Patriots is elite. They got to get an offensive line, man. Just start building from the trenches because Jacoby Brissett has no real time to throw. When he does have time to throw, as we've seen in Week 1, he can dice up a team. The Patriots surprisingly surprised everybody and beat the Bengals to begin the NFL season. So this team, if that offensive line can give Brissett some time and allow the running backs to do their thing in the backfield, the Patriots can rebound, but it's gonna be ugly, man. They don't have any identity over there, and I just kind of feel bad for for the New England Patriots. It's just all up in the air right now. I do like Coach Mayo over there as well, so we'll see what happens. And I forget who has what next week. I think the Jets have the Broncos. Don't get me twisted. We'll jump back and do our week 4 predictions. If not tonight, then a little bit later tomorrow. Um, Next game, the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Now I know that Justin Herbert, I believe he suffered an injury in this game, so we'll see what happens. But the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, I'm sorry. Pittsburgh Steelers are continuing. Let me turn this thing on notification thing off. The Pittsburgh Steelers are one of the 5 remaining undefeated teams. Um, And it's been behind the virtuoso performance of Justin Fields. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Justin Fields. Now, let me stop the cap. It's been the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, as they have not even allowed more than 10 points at any point in the season just yet. Last week, they stopped the Panthers. I think the Panthers only put up 3 points against them. First week against the Falcons, they only allowed 10 points against them. And then this week versus the Chargers, held the Chargers to just 10 points, held that rushing attack that's been very vicious, behind J.K. Dobbins, held that in check as well. So kudos to T.J. Watt and company. They've been doing their thing. And also, I got to say kudos to Justin Fields. Now, I know I joked a little bit about him leading the way per se, but Justin Fields has been an unheralded, how can I say this, contributor to the Pittsburgh Steelers. This particular game, he ran for a touchdown score and also threw for a touchdown score, and it was his most efficient game of the season. A lot of people gave Justin Fields a lot of flack because of what was going on in Chicago, but I was one of those people that was skeptical about Justin Fields at first, but of course, I get a front row seat to the abysmal Bears, Chicago Bears, man. I'm also from Chicago. Ironically enough, I got a whole family full of Bears fans, so I get a front row seat to see the horror show called the Chicago Football Bears, and a lot of blame was placed on Justin Fields as a young quarterback, unrightfully so. We'll get into the Bears in just a second, but I think that Justin Fields is really displaying his skill set, showing us what he was able to do back in college. He looks elite. Not gonna say elite, but he looks serviceable, and he looks like the best damn game manager in the NFL right now. Again, the Steelers are 3-0, and they are just rolling. And as far as the Chargers go, I don't think that Justin Herbert is out for any long term. Again, I know he went out with an injury, so after this live, I'll check on the injury reports for everybody. As there was a number of injuries this year, this particular week. There's been a lot of injuries this year too, but that's the NFL every year, respectfully. Next game we got the Pittsburgh Steelers won 20-10 versus the Chargers. Not sure if I said that. This is like a fast recap, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize. I'm just on a little bit of a break right now from work. The Minnesota Vikings stomped a mud hole in the Houston Texans. Now, a lot of people peg the Houston Texans as the potential team to dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC. I'm not going to go that far yet because I feel like the Houston Texans are on the same trajectory as my Green Bay Packers. Two prolific teams full of talent that's about a year or two away. Respectfully, I can see if the Texans sneak into the AFC Championship next year, and then they're in the Super Bowl in 2 or 3 years. I can see that. Same deal for my Packers. But as of right now, I think it's a bit premature, and we've seen it in this game as C.J. Stroud was absolutely a deer in headlights. In this game. The Vikings defense, like I talked about, before, has been leading the way, but that's not to take anything away from Sam Darnold. He threw 4 touchdown passes in this particular game, and Aaron Jones too. Man, that dude had a resurgence in his career. Got a lot of love and a lot of respect for Aaron Jones, him being a former Packer. I'm one of those dudes that even when guys from my teams go on to other teams, I still support them. I don't really hold that vitriol in my heart or hold some kind of beef. So I am happy to see Aaron Jones, still have some orange in his juice per se. And it showed in this game, man. The guy I was going against in fantasy football league and one of my fantasy football leagues this year, he had Aaron Jones on his team. And man, I looked up. Aaron Jones had damn near 40 points. I think he totaled out with like 33 or 34 points, maybe a little bit more. But goodness gracious, Aaron Jones had himself a game, and I got to see that up close as well. The Minnesota Vikings won this one 34-7. And again, the Houston Texans, they got a lot of things to figure out. I wouldn't hit the panic button at all. As the NFL is, the NFL, I was taught it stands for not for long. All right. So eventually, these coordinators, these defenses, They're full of geniuses and prolific talent. They're going to figure you out, and this is something that CJ Stroud is going through in his sophomore season. He was able to have a very breakout rookie season, got a lot of people's attention, but this is a wake up call, for the young quarterback to kind of adjust his game, probably incorporate some different wrinkles into his game now, and we'll see what the how the Texans rebound next week. Again, we're gonna do our predictions preview either tonight or tomorrow night. I got a special guest coming on to the show tonight. We're gonna get back consistent with the live streaming with my night show. So we'll do some previews tonight for sure. Moving on to the next game, I got to see this game from start to finish. This was a game I was heavily invested in as I got Derek Carr on my fantasy football team. I got Saquon Barkley. I got two fantasy football teams. Excuse me, y'all. So there's a number of guys in this game that I was looking out for: Chris Olave, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. This game was an ugly game, but an exciting game at the same time. The Philadelphia Eagles were able to pull this one out 15-12. And that's right, ladies and gentlemen. The New Orleans Saints only scored 12 points after the last 3 or 4 NFL football games, dating back to last season, week 18, when the New Orleans Saints, they put up 48 points that game, opened up the season this year with 47. Last week, put 44 points on the Dallas Cowboys stovetop. And this week against the Philadelphia Eagles, surprisingly of all defenses, they were only able to get 12 points. And I say surprisingly because Kirk Cousins was dicing up this very same Philadelphia Eagles defense last week. Had a game-winning drive. I believe that was the Monday Night Football game, but Kirk Cousins, he didn't have the greatest day ever, but that game-winning drive, man, it was something to see. And it just really exposed a lot of holes in this Philadelphia Eagles defense. But again, they were able to do enough in this game. This was an ugly yet exciting game. A lot of big plays. Saquon Barkley went crazy. He had a big touchdown score. Jalen Hurts, man, he I don't know what's going on with Jalen Hurts, man. This is 2 years in a row now. He has not looked like the Jalen Hurts, from 2022. He is a bit of a turnover machine. I think he has about 4 turnovers right now, 4 interceptions, a couple fumbles. I don't know what's going on. And to the credit of the offensive line, they are doing a fantastic job in the post Jason Kelsey era. Like this offensive line is giving Jalen Hurts enough time to do his taxes. He be having all day to throw back there and still throw interceptions. I don't understand it. Yet the Philadelphia Eagles are one of those teams, one of the classic teams in the NFL. They know how to win ugly, and this was one of those cases. They relied a lot on the defense, a lot on uh, the rushing attack as well, led by Saquon Barkley. This was a good game, though. Like I said, I got to see this one from start to finish. Didn't expect it to be such a low scoring affair, but I can't say that this game wasn't intriguing enough. So Philadelphia was able to pull off the victory 15-12. We'll do a little bit more of a breakdown as there's several things I want to discuss in this game particularly. Moving on to the next game, we got the Denver Broncos and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Another surprising game. I started off in the intro. A week full of upsets. I think the Minnesota Vikings beating the Texans was an upset. I would even say the Steelers beating the Chargers was an upset, considering how the Chargers have been just running through everybody. I mean, give it a take, give it a take. That's about an even game there. But the Vikings, I did not have them beating the Texans. The Saints, I did not have them losing to the Eagles. Here's another game. I had the Buccaneers, as hot as they have been behind Baker Mayfield. I had them winning this game, especially coming off that revenge game last week against the Lions, where they were able to walk into the Lions building and get it back in blood, as we say in Chicago. Got their revenge game after the Lions put them out of the playoffs last year. But this game, man, I could not. I didn't notice anybody in the Buccaneers uniform outside of Bucky Irvin. Like Bucky Irvin was the only one that kind of showed up to work this game. Respectfully, I don't know what the Buccaneers are going to do with Rashad White. Rashad White is a running back that I have on my fantasy football team, and this guy's just not been present to work this year. I haven't heard his name called, no real big runs, anything like that. But Bucky Irvin has been picking up the slack. Nonetheless, they lost this game 26-7 behind the Denver Broncos young rookie quarterback Bo Nix, and that very impressive, but I think is low key slept on defense of the Denver Broncos. Like the Denver Broncos got a good defense. It's just their offense is kind of sluggish to help them out. It's really only one side of the ball that comes to work. But this game was a lot different. Just for a segue, Bo Nix has not thrown his first touchdown pass as of yet in his NFL career. But the young quarterback was able to rush for a touchdown this game. So he's on the board finally for a touchdown after 3 weeks. Um, and just kudos to him, man. He was able to really galvanize his troops. I think that Bo Nix could be the next great Denver Broncos quarterback if they able to get this thing together, and I'm really questioning. I really got questions about Sean Payton, me personally. But we'll get a little bit more into these sub categories when I get into that one. My break's almost over. Damn, man, time flies when you're talking football. We talking about my Packers and the Tennessee Titans. Real quick, Malik Willis. Shout out to Malik Willis, man. We are in the Malik Willis era right now, as we have gone Packer Nation. We have gone 2-0 since the injury of Jordan Love in Week 1. Malik Willis has just been very impressive, for a guy that's only been with the Green Bay Packers a month as of today. Well, no, we signed him August 28th, so not even a month. We're still 4 days shy of a month from Malik Willis joining the Packers, and he has stepped in. He's been very good for us, not trying to do too much, being very efficient, using his legs, which is the strength of Malik Willis. He is a mobile quarterback, and relying on his rushing. We didn't get a lot of production out of Josh Jacobs this game. Last week, Josh Jacobs led the way. I think he had 30 plus carries, did his thing. This game was a little bit more by committee. And Eric Wilson, our other running back, he got a big score as well. I'm just so proud of my Packers, man. We are young. I'm so proud of Coach Matt LaFleur. I'm proud of Coach Jeff Hafley, our defensive coordinator, as the defense has been impressive. Jair Alexander, my favorite defensive player in the league. Respectfully, he ain't the best, but he's my guy, and he's my favorite player right now. He got a pick six as well. So the defense, and Xavier McKinney as well. Our defense has been lit. I cannot lie, man. I love what the Packers are doing on defense. I'm just really crossing my fingers that they stay consistent and we stay healthy as well when Jordan Love returns. If we can stay consistent and stay healthy with our franchise guy and everybody's clicking, shout out to Hot Take Jake from the Bottom Line Sports. Bro said that he had the Packers winning the Super Bowl this year, and I thought it was a little bit cap. I thought he was cap. But Hot Take knows his stuff, man, and he definitely saw something in my Packers that I didn't see, and I'm starting to see it now. We definitely have something here. And Coach Matt LaFleur, he's my early candidate. I know this is biased. He's my early candidate for Coach of the Year. Between him and Mike McDonald with the Seahawks, yeah, he's been doing a fantastic job as well. Moving on to our next game, we got the Giants and the New York Giants and the Cleveland Browns. This game was another upset for me. As the New York Giants, man, they just all of a sudden decided they wanted to be good. A good against a good defense, too. The Cleveland Browns defense are not no scrubs. They are, they're definitely, I think they're like the second best or third best defense last year. Read up, got all of their guys back, and for the most part, led by the defensive player of the year, Myles Garrett. But the Cleveland Browns were not able to stop the combination of Daniel Jones and I believe the kid's name is Malik Neighbors. As they connected, I believe, on 2 touchdown passes in this game. I think Malik Neighbors was able to snag two. Malik played pretty much got the catch of the year right now, with a very impressive 360. He did a 360 in the air, caught the pass. Man, it was beautiful. Got his feet still inbounds. A beautiful pass, a beautiful catch, from a rookie and from a guy that a lot of people in Daniel Jones, I felt like wrote off. I never thought Daniel Jones was horrible. I just know that the New York Football Giants are horrible. They've been like that for years. I don't understand how Eli Manning was able to sneak two Super Bowls, but anyway, the Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson, he's been getting a lot of criticism as well. He was actually decent this game, just wasn't enough as the New York Giants were able to defeat the Cleveland Browns 21-16. Moving on to another upset. The Indianapolis Colts were able to overcome the Chicago Bears' fierce defense. Off the top, I got to say that Caleb Williams is getting a lot of flack, but he looked pretty decent in spurts. He's been looking decent in spurts all season long. And I've been pretty consistent in that. I know I'm a Packers fan. I'm not supposed to be singing the praises of a Chicago Bear respectfully, but at the end of the day, I gotta give praise where praise is due. Excuse me, Caleb Williams is good in spurts. It's just he's a rookie. That offensive line for the Chicago Bears, again, I talked about it a little bit with Justin Fields earlier in the Pittsburgh Steelers. That offensive line for the Chicago Bears is hot garbage. Poor guy, Caleb Williams, doesn't get any time. He got sacked 7 times last week. I can't recall how many times this week the Indianapolis Colts were able to get to him. I think he got like 4 sacks this game, if I remember correctly. But Caleb Williams doesn't have any time to throw back there, man. And I feel for him, as a young guy. I don't really care for Caleb Williams, him as a player, but I'm not, betting on him to be a bust or anything like that. It'll be pretty interesting to see him and Jordan Love duel it out for the next decade or so, as well. I would love that competition there, but Indianapolis Colts were able to get the victory behind the rushing attack of Jonathan Taylor. Anthony Richards was pretty decent this game as well. The Bears defense surprised me as they allowed Jonathan Taylor to just rush all over him. But it is what it is. Chicago Bears going Chicago Bear. They lost this game 21-16 to the Colts. Moving on, Carolina Panthers bench Bryce Young and entered the wily veteran Andy Dalton, formerly known as the Red Rocket of the Cincinnati Bengals. Andy Dalton was able to come in and give this franchise a little bit of glimmer of hope and a sigh of relief, as he led the Carolina Panthers to a victory over the Las Vegas Raiders, 36-22. Now I'll be 100. I didn't see this game. I didn't pay a lot of attention to this game, so I will double back once I do a little bit more research. I just know that Andy Dalton did his thing. And I got to see what was going on with this Raiders defense, because they looked impeccable last week. And they kind of came up short this week, of course. Miami versus the Seattle Seahawks. Again, shout out to Coach Mike McDonald, formerly the defensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens, comes over to be the head coach of these Seahawks, and he got these guys undefeated, ladies and gentlemen, 3-0 to start the season. This defense has been absolutely elite, in my opinion. They have bent, but they have not broken. And all being in this game, the Miami Dolphins are without their franchise guy, Tua, as Tua was down. He went down last week with a concussion in the third quarter. He was traveling with the team. He was on the sideline for this game, so that's a good sign to see. But more bad news for the Miami Dolphins at the quarterback position, as Skylar Thompson went out with an injury this game and was replaced by Tim Boyle. I can't recall the third string guy, but Skylar Thompson went out with a chest injury as he was getting beat up in this game. And you just feel for Mike McDaniel and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, all these guys having one of the better, let me say this, more talented offensive players, but just not being able to stay healthy and get everything clicking. And the Seahawks took full advantage of this as they defeated the Miami Dolphins 24-3. Baltimore Ravens versus the Cowboys, excuse me. Another game I got to see from start to finish uninterrupted. Man, this was a good game. But it was not really. I mean, the score says 28-25. The game was not this close, ladies and gentlemen. The Baltimore Ravens, with the combined efforts of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry back there, combined for 274 rushing yards. Goodness gracious, man, that's a lot of rushing yards. Um, and I look at Micah Parsons for this, man, because Micah has been the one, expressing frustration, going to the media, calling out guys, not by name, but just, doing that thing, that passive aggressive thing that athletes do. We need to do this. Guys need to step up. It's like, man, you need to do that. You need to step up. And this is one of those disadvantages of guys missing training camp, between the OTAs, excuse me, between CD Lamb and Micah Parsons. They both look bad in this game. CD Lamb dropped a number of passes. I recall one in the end zone he dropped. Just unexplicable mistakes by both of these guys. And these are the two dudes showing frustration. CD Lamb was over there talking crazy to Dak Prescott. I had one of my homies send me a clip of CD Lamb going at Dak. It's like, bro, sit down, bro. You out here dropping passes. And I'm really starting to have some remorse for Dak. I've been a very hardcore Dak Prescott critic, but looking how CD was acting and all the passes he was dropping, and then Michael Parsons just getting baby, getting sunned by Derrick Henry. Because honestly, man, Derrick Henry could have did the too small. The thing they be doing in the NBA when they dunk on somebody and they do the too small taunt. Derrick Henry could have did that all day long to Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons was just falling off, dude, like a raindrop on a rain jacket. It was embarrassing. And again, Michael came out with some comments after the game. But like I said, this score says 28-25. But the Baltimore Ravens were able to put the Cowboys away early. I believe it was about the third quarter where they put them away. Cowboys started a nice comeback thanks to Dak. Dak was actually putting on his Superman cape for a little while there, and almost brought the Cowboys back. I even tweeted out the Dallas Buffaloes, because it looked like that kind of comeback. The defense was stepping up, just in that fourth quarter to get some stops, and Dak was doing his thing. But at the end of the day, Dak don't have a rushing attack, and he don't have his number one wide receiver is dropping passes, and he don't have a defense. I'm about to start giving Dak a little bail, man, because it's ridiculous what's going on in Cowboy Nation. Honestly, in my opinion. But again, 28-25 Ravens were able to get that. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we got 5 more games real quick. 4 more games. I got to get back to work. All right, the Rams and the San Francisco 49ers, they battled it out. This was a battle of the handicapped teams, as both these teams have a number of injuries to their key guys. The Rams are missing Cooper Kupp and Puka Nakua, amongst others. For the 49ers, excuse me, they were missing Debo Samuels this game. They was missing George Kittle this game. C-Mac, Christian McCaffrey, has missed all season so far with his Achilles injury. Update on that: he has gone to Germany to seek out some stem cell treatment that I'm very familiar with. I used to be a personal trainer, and I learned about this, some of the technology that they have over there in Germany. Very, very cool stuff. A lot of people may not be aware, but Kobe Bryant, when he suffered his injuries late in his career, he took a trip over to I believe he tore his ACL or something like that. He went over to Germany as well and got some treatment. So, um, I mean, we're just hoping for the best for C-Mac, but the 49ers, also, man, Brock Purdy got a bit of an injury scare this game as well, as he has been listed as day to day with a back injury. But Matt Stafford put this team on his back, did what he had to do to win this game. And again, this was a tough game to watch because of so many injuries. But the quarterbacks dazzled. Brock Purdy had 3 touchdowns in a losing effort. And the Rams was just able to come back at the last minute and sweep this game, take this game from underneath the 49ers. So, what's that kid's name? Jawan Jenkins, I believe, of the 49ers. He had himself a day. I believe he had all 3 touchdown passes, which kind of pisses me off because I got Brandon Ayuk on my fantasy football team. I'm just wondering when he gonna show up to work. So, but the Rams were able to sneak out the back door with this win, 27-24. Kansas City Chiefs, another one of the undefeated teams in the season, keep rolling. They defeated the Atlanta Falcons in the Sunday night football game. A lot of controversy around this, but I want to say real quick, man, the Kansas City Chiefs, they don't get every call, just like these other guys don't get every call. I'm tired of people running to the internet just getting clipping every little thing, and they only could show like 1 or 2 plays because it's really ridiculous. I understand the Kansas City Chiefs may get preferential treatment because they have the face of the NFL and all that kind of stuff, but that I just feel like it's getting a little out of hand. I've seen a number of calls, and I even posted a one clip where the Atlanta Falcons player, he committed a defensive pass interference on I forget who it was, Juju Smith Schmeister. Can't say bro's name, but I think he committed a defensive pass interference on him, and nobody said nothing about that, right? But it's conveniently, they can clip out that one pass interference or what they deem as a pass interference um, against the other team or whatever against the Chiefs. Everybody can point out that one, but at the end, I mean, for me personally, I just feel like the refs are humans. You're gonna have that human error element. I don't think the Chiefs are getting preferential treatment that much to the point where it's swaying the game. I just think that 15 in red and Andy Reid, there's been no signs of Travis Kelsey as of yet, but and Rashee Rice too. These guys are just finding ways to win. They really displaying championship DNA. All of the Chiefs games have gone down to the wire to the last play, darn near. So far in the NFL, and I don't expect that trend to change. And every team is going to bring their best against the champions, quite naturally. But again, they were able to sneak out the back door again with this victory, 22-17. Jacksonville Jaguars and the Buffalo Bills. Ain't nothing to talk about here, ladies and gentlemen. The Buffalo Bills. I got a video cooking up right now. Are the Buffalo Bills contenders or pretenders after this game? They looking like contenders. Now again, it's against the Jacksonville Jaguars, but uh, what Josh Allen is doing is nothing less than special. Josh Allen is beating teams with his arms, with his legs. He doesn't have a number one legitimate receiver. James Cook has came back alive, after last year have dropping a dud of a season. And these Buffalo Bills, man, are included with the defense. Von Miller and the crew, they are finding ways to win, man, and they dominated this game 47-10. It was a double header Monday night football game last night with the Bills and the Jaguars being one of those showcases. But it was no real reason to watch that game because it was over with fast. Um, but kudos to Josh Allen and the crew, man, over there. Washington versus Cincinnati, the second of the doubleheaders. This game was something to see, man. It was very exciting, a high scoring game. The Commanders, this was another upset for me, ladies and gentlemen. The Commanders were able to win 38-33. Now, I for sure thought the Bengals going home were able to get, a little bit and getting T. Higgins back, mind you, as well. I thought for sure this was a win in the bag for the Cincinnati Bengals, but man, this was an ugly loss, a terrible loss on their part. That defense was getting sliced and diced by a rookie player. Jaden Daniels looked like one of the marquee quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, maybe in the future he's going to be, but he was really showing his stuff in this game. He threw a couple bombs to Scary Terry McLaurin, one of my favorite wide receivers. I always find a way to get Scary Terry on my teams. I wasn't able to get him this year because a lot of people are starting to really notice. He's a real deal wide receiver. But I've been noticing it for years. And one little this little segue note that Terry McLaurin, I hope I'm saying his name right. He has caught passes since he's been drafted in the NFL 6 years ago. He has caught passes from 11 different quarterbacks, including Jaden Daniels. That was a mind-boggling stat that I found. I just couldn't believe it when I seen it. I mean, 11 quarterbacks in 6 years, man, that is no consistency in that manner. But through it all, Scary Terry has been very, I want to say, almost elite. Man, he's been one of the better wide receivers for his the entirety of his career. And now that he has, it seems like the Washington Commanders have found their guy. I think that this is going to bode well for him. If you don't have him on your fantasy team, get him. I'm trying to make a trade right now because Scary Terry is just one of those guys, very consistent, very professional. He's gonna get his numbers. Cincinnati Bengals. I don't know what's going on with these dudes, man. Again, I'm not gonna place any blame on the offensive players. A lot of time, people like to, run and blame the quarterback or blame the coach. It's the defense for me. It's the defense. Ain't no way in the world a rookie quarterback supposed to come in your building and show you up. I mean, I just think that there's got to be some sort of NFL pride there, some kind of, team pride there, that you're not going to allow a kid that was just playing college football, what was 8 months ago? You know what I mean? Like it's crazy to me that the Bengals defense just kind of laid down, not figuratively, but they just laid down. It seemed like because uh, 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 what's Jaden Daniels had himself a career night, and this is only his third football game in the NFL. So, but Jaden McDaniels, he was very accurate this evening, and Joe Burrow and the crew as well. Zach Moss, they was able to refine themselves after last week, kind of throwing up a dud. Um, what was it last week? Who did I can't recall who the Bengals faced last week, but yeah, another terrible loss, man. And there's a lot of questions. I believe the Cincinnati Bengals are 0-3 now. Have yet to secure a victory. And there's just a lot of questions, man. I got to do a little bit more research into what's going on in Cincinnati. I thought, I know that Cincinnati is typically a team that starts slow. So I figured it would take them until week 3, week 4 to really get a flow. But I honestly thought they would have had at least one win by week 3, going into week 4. And especially with this, I circled this one on the calendar for them. Like, oh, that's going to be an easy win. I honestly, when they put up these two games, I honestly thought the Jacksonville Buffalo game would be more competitive than, this particular game. But it was a good game, man. And again, Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin, they really showcased their stuff, man. They're going to be a dangerous combination. But, ladies and gentlemen, I thank y'all for rocking with me in this NFL recap. As I got to get back to the work, and I definitely appreciate everybody rocking with me on your way out. Please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section real quick. But on your way out, like the video, share the video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel as well. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel as I drop content daily, go live daily, stay very busy on the platform. And last but not least, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section for real. I love talking some football. And we got a even more exciting week 4 coming up. Again, my Packers and the Minnesota Vikings are about to clash. It's always a movie and when we go up against that team in purple. So I'm excited to talk all things football. So just let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Once again, I'm Tony the Savant. Peace.